in the early part of it itself, Helena is asking, is Cliff in love with you? I've contrasted two scenes actually in the same act. So Helena says, is Cliff in love with you? Ellison says, no, I don't think so. Helena, and what about you? You look as though I have asked you a rather peculiar question. The way things are, you might as well be frank with me. I only want to help. After all, your behavior together is a little strange by most people's standards, to say the least. That means, in this way, usually a married woman do not act the way you act with Cliff. So Ellison says, you mean you have seen us embracing each other? Helena, well, it doesn't seem to go on as much as it did, I admit. Perhaps he finds my presence inhibiting, even if Jimmy isn't. Jimmy doesn't seem to be intruding between you and Cliff, but to Cliff it seems that I am the intruder. So Ellison says, we are simply fond of each other. There's no more to it than that. Helena, darling, really, it can't be as simple as that. Right. So Ellison says, you mean there must be something physical too? I suppose there is, but it's not exactly a consuming passion with either of us. It's just a relaxed, cheerful sort of thing, like being warm in bed. You are too comfortable to bother about moving for the sake of some other pleasure. So, see, the relationship between Ellison and Cliff is something which is you cannot explain. So Helena says, I find it difficult to believe anyone's that lazy. That means even when you are in the bed, you are feeling warm with each other, you are feeling comfortable, yet you are not involved in physical relations. So Ellison says, I think we are. We are so lazy that we do not have physical relation. Helena, and what about Jimmy? After all, he is your husband. Do you mean to say he actually approves of it? Ellison, it isn't easy to explain. It is what he would call a question of allegiances. And he expects you to be pretty literal about them. Not only about himself, and all the things he believes in, his present and his future, but his past as well. All the people he admires and loves and has loved, the friends he used to know, the people I have never even known and probably wouldn't have liked, his father who died years ago, even the other woman who's loved. Do you understand? Now what she is saying is all confusing. It doesn't make any sense. So Helena says,
Yes.
do you understand this? What are you saying? Ellison says, I have tried to, but I still can't bring myself to feel the way he does about things. I can't believe that he is right somehow. So Ellison
Ma'am,
further, yes.
yeah, ma'am. Please explain what she means by all of this. A
Yeah,
question of allegiance and
yes, I'm doing
yes,
that. So Helena
yes.
is saying that there is something anyway. So Ellison says, if things have worked out with Cliff, it's because he is kind and lovable, and I have grown genuinely fond of him. But it's being a fluke. It's worked because Cliff is such a nice person anyway. With Hugh, it was quite different. So, right from the time Ellison is married, Jimmy is living either with Hugh or with Cliff. One of his friends is always there with him at home. When he got married to Ellison, he didn't have home, so it was Hugh's mother who gave him shelter at their home. So Hugh was there. So Ellison compares Hugh and Cliff, because when they shifted to one room apartment, Cliff came with them. Hugh had left. So Ellison says that with Hugh she did not have good relations, but with Cliff she is very comfortable. So, one meaning may be that probably she doesn't mind whether he's male or female, and she herself is comfortable because she can share all of her thoughts and emotions with him, which she cannot do with her own husband, Jimmy. Either this is the meaning of it. The writer doesn't make it clear. But in case of Cliff, as we see in some of the dialogues, it seems that Cliff is in love with Ellison. Okay, now my focus was on Helena as she is exploring relation between Ellison and Cliff. Now, towards the end part of the same act, you come to the later dialogues of it, and you find that when Ellison had left and now she has come again. Act 2 ends towards the end of Act 2. There are long speeches made by Helena. So she has realized that what she is doing is wrong, that she is living with someone's husband while the wife has left her home. So what Helena says, so we can compare these two scenes. Helena says very well, I'm going downstairs to pack my things. Now she is leaving Jimmy's house because Ellison has returned. Till now she was living with Jimmy. She was in relationship. So she says, if I hurry, I shall catch 7:15 train to London. And then to Jimmy, she is saying that this is not Ellison's doing. You must understand that it's my own decision entirely. In fact, she has been just trying to talk me out of it. It's just that suddenly tonight I see what I have really known along. That you can't be happy when what you are doing is wrong or is hurting someone else. Means now she is realizing that she has hurt Ellison by living with her husband and compelling her to go back to her parents' place. I suppose it could never have worked anyway, but I do love you, Jimmy. I shall never love anyone as I have loved you. Turns away, but I cannot go on. I cannot continue this relationship. I can't take part in all this suffering. That means I can't. That means you are suffering, Ellison is suffering, and I am also suffering. And to Ellison, she says, you probably won't feel up to making that journey again tonight, but we can fix you up at a hotel before I go. There's about half an hour. I shall just make it. But Jimmy's voice stops her, and Jimmy says they all want to escape from the pain of being alive, and most of all from love. I always knew something like this would turn up some problem like an ill wife, and it would be too much for those delicate hot house feelings of yours. Jimmy feels that love is impossible for human beings if they try always to distinguish between right and wrong. This is Jimmy's thinking. Okay, so what is it thinking? Let me again go through these lines of Jimmy. See, he says it is no good trying to fool yourself about love. You can't fall into it like a soft job without dirtying your hands. That means if you are in love, your hands are going to get dirty. It takes muscles and guts. And if you can't bear the thought of messing up your nice, clean soul, you would better give up the whole idea of life. To Helena, he's saying that you have to dirty your hands if you want to be in love. And if you are thinking that you want to stay clean, then better become a saint rather than a common human being. You would better give up the whole idea of life and become a saint. That means if you want to play an active role in your life, then you have to dirty your hands, because you shall never make it as a human being. It is neither this world or the next. So these are
Ma'am,
the yes.
ma'am, what does he mean by dirty hands?
Dirty hands means when Helena says that she cannot live happily if she is making other person to suffer. That means she is happy with Jimmy, but because of this relationship, it is Ellison who is suffering. So this is wrong. She's a moral compass of the play.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. She says this is wrong. But Jimmy says that if you are in love, you have to dirty your hands. Because this
Okay.
life, in life, you have to dirty your hands, otherwise you become a saint. Okay, so basically see the two love triangles in the play. First one is between Jimmy, Cliff and Ellison. Second between Helena, Ellison and Jimmy. So how confused youth of the country were in post Second World War era. Right? None of them is happy in any sort of relationship. This is what we see. See the relationship between Ellison and Cliff. This is, seems to be a very strange relationship because they two seem to have very close connection. Yet Jimmy is not getting jealous of this relationship. So first, what we think is that Ellison and Cliff's this relationship is integral to Jimmy and Ellison's relationship. Ellison is able to get affection that she desires from Cliff. Cliff also provides that masculine friendship and confidence to Jimmy. Towards Ellison, he is providing his friendship. To Jimmy, he is providing his friendship. What a friendship between a male and male should be, that exists between Cliff and Jimmy. And with Ellison also, he's so soft.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And when Ellison is getting that call in the beginning that Helena is coming, so Jimmy, is very violently there's an outburst, there's a dialogue.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the relation between Jimmy and Helena is it's very violent. They two hate each other so much, yet even after that hatred and class differences, they are getting involved with each other.
Ma'am, they hate each other. I mean, yeah, they behave like they hate each other, but then they say that they love each other.
No, no,
In
no.
many.
In the beginning, he doesn't want Helena to come.
No,
Okay,
ma'am, not
and
Helena.
then
Sorry. Allison and Jimmy. Like they
yeah,
behave. He's so abusive to her. Even then, in the end, also she, they reconcile, and he becomes a little soft in the end. But
yes,
their relationship is very complex.
it's
I mean,
very
I don't know.
yeah.
Even
The relationship is very complex. And that simple feeling of love, that simplicity, that purity, that doesn't exist. In Act 2 also, when Helena is staying there for some time, and there's a scene where they are preparing, they are just getting ready to go to the church. Alice at that time, Ellison tells Helena about her relationship with Jimmy, how they courted their early days of marriage, and once they had even crashed the party of Ellison's friends, and even you had gone there. And they had brawled, and they had done something that these people had, the party people had looked down upon these people. Okay, so that kind of scene is also there. That means Jimmy wants to enter their world, yet hates that world.
does he envy them, the upper class?
Yes,
Probably.
of course, that envy, that jealousy is there right from the beginning. Who doesn't envy rich people? It's a universal thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes.
So that envy is also portrayed, and then he feels that due to these noble class people, their own rights are curtailed.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And when this
Ma'am,
whole world, yes,
ma'am, is it so he married Ellison just for like taking the revenge from the upper class people? Because like even he keeps taunting her for the same, and he do not want her to like participate in any of the upper classes function or something. So is it so he?
actually, yes, yes, of course. It seems sometimes that he married Ellison, and then he wants her complete commitment, but he himself is unable to give her that complete commitment of a man to his wife.
Yes, ma'am.
So he wants to see that helplessness of Ellison. It seems that he is somewhere, enjoying that kind of cruelty that he is showing to Ellison. See, there is a
Ma'am,
game.
Yes.
The world is harsh. Both for we cannot say the world is not harsh for Jimmy. The world is very harsh for Jimmy, right? Because he's educated, and that white-tiled university versus red brick university, he has to see all that these kinds of discrimination also, and he's as per his education, he is doing a very low work. So all that anger is there in him. The world is harsh. This is what he feels, and Ellison also feels because her own parents have left her after this marriage, and here she doesn't find that sympathy from Jimmy or anyone. So Ellison, while she is talking to Helena, she also points to that squirrel and bear game. There's a They keep a stuffed squirrel and a teddy bear in their room, in the corner of their room. So Ellison points to that and then tells Helena that these animals represent two of them. She tells about the game that they play, in which she pretends that she is a squirrel and Jimmy pretends that he is a bear. In this way, this couple is escaping from reality. The reality of the life is so harsh to them that they escape the reality through this game. And here Helena warns her that you must fight Jimmy. Otherwise, one day he is going to kill her. Ellison is explaining the symbolism of this bear and squirrel. She says that by taking this persona of these stuffed animals, they are both able to have a, dumb relationship, uncomplicated affection with each other, teddy bear love, or squirrel love,
not
just very, very simple, plain, love, not using any brain or logic or reasoning. They can truly love each other by being detached with the entire world. Right. So this is their game. Teddy bear and squirrel.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, something weird happens in the first act. Not that significant, however. So Allison in the first act only, Allison and Cliff, they're talking, and Cliff takes Allison's hands, and he puts her fingers in his mouth, and he's, I don't know, talking to him, and he's saying she's a beautiful girl, isn't she? So like the first time I read it, it was so weird. So why does he
Yes.
behave this way? Aren't they the same age? And then she is uh Jimmy's wife also. He takes her fingers and puts them in his mouth like playfully. I don't know, maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind of a sexual act that he is performing.
Yes, ma'am. In front
Right.
of Jimmy, that too.
And Jimmy is comfortable with that.
Yes, ma'am.
He has got no problem. So
Hmm.
you will see there are so many scenes in this play that would point towards this direction, that Jimmy is in love with Ellison, and he is taking these sexual advances also towards her. So it
Cliff.
is, yes, Cliff, sorry, Cliff. And it's hard to believe that Ellison is so innocent that she cannot understand these gestures. It's not possible.
Yes, ma'am. She's the same age as them only. She's
She's
not very.
educated woman, yes, and she understands life. She's not an imbecile, right? So there are so many acts which are, which we, if we go on discussing, then we would say that this was the generation post Second World War, when they had seen death so close, and the psyche seems to be in conflict, or say disturbed. The integrity of the family life, that was almost broken down at that period, during that time. The class structure was breaking, so were the family traditions. Because British society, as we see in other places also, it's a very conservative society, right? So, and the working class, as they are trying to move forward and they are trying to get education, and they are all packed up in small apartments because they have to live in city and they have to work in industries, and do all the work that is not related with farming. So they are making so many, they're taking so many liberties, and so that is why I asked you to search for jazz culture also, that what is jazz music. You can hear, you can relate it with jazz culture. What is jazz? This music which is people are so fond of today, how did it originate? At that time, in order to entertain themselves, these working class people, they there were so many nightclubs that were opened, and they were all illegal, and illegally alcohol was sold there, sex was available at that time there, and in such an atmosphere, the music that came up, and which was played by, it originated from by African Americans, because they had never got a privileged life earlier, right? So in such an atmosphere, this jazz culture came up. It came immediately after First World War, but then here it gained popularity. So these young people, they used to go a jazz club, and there they had dance, and they had alcohol, and these things. So this was their entertainment after the day's work. So that means morals were also compromised. Social life had become different from what it was so far. So, and this is what is demonstrated when Jimmy is always playing trumpet. Okay, so there are so many scenes that you would find, that are not easy to be digested. So basically here what we see, that Jimmy is a character with contradictory qualities, all opposing with each other. He has working class background, working, and he is educated, but he's running selling sweets, running sweet stall. So at one place he appears to be very cruel. He's very restless, and then he's full of so pride. Right? Then he marries against his own class. He is very cruel towards Ellison, but he is very tender towards Helena. See how he talks to Helena. He never gets cruel with Helena. So all these
Ma'am, why?
contradictory.
Is
Yes.
there a reason for that? Is there a reason for that?
It's very difficult to understand the reason, but yes, there may be one reason that Ellison is his married wife, so she cannot go anywhere, and Helena is with her. He knows that there's no commitment attached, no obligations attached.
No, ma'am, and also we read that Ellison belongs to the upper class, but Helena belongs to same class as Jimmy. Like they both belong to both lower and middle class. So maybe that he has some
No,
soft
not
corner for her.
exactly, because not exactly because Ellison has now stepped down and she has come into this middle class, but Helena has not stepped down. Right?
Helena originally is like upper classes, sort of.
Yes, she is because the kind of dresses she wears, the way she moves as an independent woman.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, but in the first place, they have shown that Helena and Jimmy hate each other. Then
yes.
why Jimmy spoke so tenderly with her?
That's the that's why we say that Jimmy is a bundle of contradictory qualities. They
Yeah.
are hating and they are shouting at each other in one scene, and the next scene or in the same scene they are passionately engaged in this physical love.
Okay.
So probably during that time so many theories of psychology were coming up, and Freud was also working. So perhaps out of deep hatred, that passionate relationship coming out. So this is something that the author is trying to show.
Okay, ma'am.
Right, the more you hate, the more passionately you explore each other physically. So something
Okay, ma'am.
of that is contradictory quality.
Okay, ma'am.
So then Jimmy's attitude towards society, you see that
Hmm.
he is against upper class, that means he's against snobbery,
Yes, ma'am.
right? But at the same time he's trying to enter into their parties, crash into their parties, and there he's performing some acts that this causes embarrassment to Ellison.
Yes, ma'am.
And you see that there are scenes where he is opening Ellison's drawers and reading her letters. So
Yes, ma'am.
why is he doing that? Because in upper class society a person would never do that. They believe
Hmm.
in the privacy, but he wants to break that privacy. So that is
Yes,
working
ma'am.
class consciousness.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, and when you say that Jimmy is accepting what Cliff is doing to Ellison, or Jimmy himself is engaged with Helena and all that. So this kind of openness in sexual relationship, that is also a representation of the new society, which is more permissive, which gives permissions to that breaks the wall between moral and immoral acts. And that is why he's saying at some place that if you want to live such a life of morality, better become a saint rather than engaging yourself in life.
Yes, ma'am. Alison mentions that don't give me the like. I don't believe in the book of rules or something
Yes, this is
regarding marriage.
so that permissiveness, that we may say, that kind of permissiveness in the he would enter the private life of Ellison by reading those letters. He would establish his relationship with Helena and all. He would he feels comfortable when Cliff is also sitting so close to his wife, and there's he feels no jealousy there. So that this is something a new society that was emerging at that time. This somewhere represents this. Okay, so in this way, we can say when we say that Jimmy is the anti-hero, he's anti-hero in this sense. It's something that he is demonstrating in his life. These were not considered to be quality of hero till now, from classical age till this age when this Jimmy came into, or Osborne's play came into play.
Ma'am, even contemporary
Yeah.
Even in contemporary society, we are observing the same things that are happening today, even today.
Yes.
Almost.
Yeah. Yes, of course. So, why such a thing is happening? There are so many reasons that you can give to it. So, now when we are discussing these things, we can also see what is Jimmy's attitude towards women. It's very unrealistic. He wants loyalty and total devotion of Ellison. He himself will not show loyalty, and he himself will not show devotion. But he demands loyalty and devotion from uh, Ellison. Right? His
Yes, ma'am.
relationship with Helena is nothing of from heart or soul. It is all erotic. There's no heart to heart connection with Helena. He tries to possess the soul of Ellison, but with Helena, he just wants possession over her body.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
So, this is how he sees women
He is a misogynist.
taking possession over.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so such things we shall now further discuss because our
And
time is over. Yes.
ma'am, then if he loves Helena, then sorry, Allison, then why does he always try to provoke her and be angry at her to an extent where he burns her or like
That 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 may be his idea of showing possession over soul.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
It's toxic though. It's very toxic.
It's very toxic. Yes, definitely. So that is why we see his two attitudes towards two women. They are both different, but in these things, the commonality is just this, that he wants to possess. Right. So we shall also discuss Jimmy's childhood in the next class. So this will throw light on why he looks at women in this way. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So rest in next. Enjoy your day. Bye bye.
Ma'am, we didn't click a screenshot
Okay,
of
okay, okay,
Actually,
okay,
everyone.
yes.
okay, okay. Just switch on your cameras and also the attendance. Attendance also you should click that picture also. 18 or 19 students are present today. So let's have that also with us. Okay, and post it in WhatsApp. And rest of the things, for that official things, I have left that group, and in second other group, the first one, old one that you have, there you can post the messages about CC and other things, right? Here it's easy if you just keep a record of our attendance and class links, what was taught which day. So let this group be for the subject only, right?
Ma'am, can I
Yes.
ask you something about CCE?
Yes, sure.
Ma'am, we will have to write in a file, or will we have an exam?
No, you will
Uh,
have to write your answers and submit it in the to the committee.
and there will be
So
questions
So,
from both the
ma'am, in the
people.
form of file, we have to submit.
yes, yes, as you did for it's a kind of a project work or something in that way. A4 size
Okay, ma'am.
paper, ruled or unruled. One side you can write, okay, and two answers probably you will have to write. So these answers can be from approximately 300 words each.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay,
From both the
from both the papers you will get questions.
So,
okay.
ma'am,
And
from both the papers, we have to write two answers, or
I
like
think it
in
is no, no,
total
no.
two
It's going to one each.
one each. Okay.
Two questions from my paper, two questions from Savita Srivastava ma'am's paper.
And ma'am, we have
Yes,
CCs of all the subjects together. We have to submit the
just
assessment of
keep
all the subjects
keep
together.
keep an eye on the college website, and in your WhatsApp group also, this will be posted, the questions that you have to write. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
And from my side, I think first 2 units will be enough. One question on Lear I will give, and the other one on drama. The first question I can give, like what is drama and what are the different kinds of drama. Okay. And second question may be about the theme of the play King Lear. And out of these 2 questions, you will have to do one. Similarly, you will get 2 questions from the paper, Savita Srivastava ma'am's paper, and there you have to attempt one. So, in your English Literature CCE, 2 questions you will be attempting, and you will be depositing these answer sheets in the department, or maybe some committee will be formed. Notice will come and it will reach you, and just check the website also. Okay, everything is uploaded on the website, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
And today also you have got remedial class, na? So you
Yes,
can,
ma'am.
so today you can ask Srivastava ma'am. She will tell you about rest of the CC things. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. All the best.
Thank
Bye.
you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Ma'am.